What's up, football fans? Welcome back to NFL Matchup. I'm your host, Earl Knows It All. And what we do here each and every single week from week 1 until week 18 in the NFL season is give you a preview of every game, and we give you our prediction for that game. What's going to happen? Who's going to win? What's going to be the outcome? If you're looking for an edge or just some information about what's up coming up in the next upcoming game, you come to the right place. NFL Matchup is a place for you, man. And we do this, like I said, each and every week. And lo and behold, man, it's a glorious day. It is the first week of the season, 2025. NFL is back, and we're here to get you taken care of, man. Let you know what's going to happen in each one of those games. And it's been a busy offseason, man. If you watch some of the other content that we have here on this channel, we give you some NFL coverage. We kind of give you a breakdown of what goes on after the games, but we also got you covered before the games, and that's the beauty of watching this channel. So do yourself a favor, man. Make sure that you like this video first and foremost. Tell a friend, tell a hater. Y'all know what we like to say. Make sure you subscribe to the channel most importantly. If you're watching it, you might as well subscribe and then turn the notification on, man, so you'll know when we are dropping heat each and every week, man. This show right here in particular, an NFL matchup, will drop each and every Thursday morning. We're going to get you set for what's coming up. You got Thursday night games, and the season, of course, kicks off with the Thursday night game this year. The world champion Philadelphia Eagles, fly. My guys, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Philly Dogs, are back in business. They will receive their rings. They'll raise their banner at the link, and they will bring the Cowboys into town as sacrificial lambs. Yes, that game kicks off right here tonight, Thursday night, man. NFL season is back. It's a beautiful thing, man. Now, a lot of talk has went on with these Cowboys this offseason. We got to start with them. Just this week, or last week, I should say, they made a huge trade. Jerry Jones, old Jerry himself, man, decided to move on from Michael Parsons. That's been the big news. He didn't want to pay Michael Parsons. It was going on all offseason, a back and forth. Did he accept the contract offer? Did he not? Did he talk to his agent? Why wouldn't he talk to his agent? Eventually, they get to the point where he tells them, hey, you know what? If you want to be a Cowboy, play on this 5th year. We're not going to give you an extension. And Michael Parsons, shout out to you, man, for doing what you did. He said, I'm not going to do that, man. And they traded him to the Green Bay Packers. We'll get into the Packers a little bit later as well. And he got a 4-year, $188 million contract, $136 million of that guaranteed. So Michael Parsons, maybe the best Cowboy. In my opinion, he was probably the best player on that team. Will not be suiting up for the Cowboys in this game, man. They're going to need all the help they can get, man, because they're facing a team that is coming fresh off a championship, team that knows how to win, team led by one Mr. Jalen Hurts, man, a guy who I'm a huge fan of, man. A lot of talk during the offseason. You saw Cam Newton and Gilly the Kid going back and forth about, is Jalen Hurts elite? Is he not elite? All this, yapping about that. But the one thing that I will say is Jalen Hurts seems to just fly right over all the BS, man. And that's a great leader to have, man. And, whether you think he's elite or not, whether you try to get rid of the tush push and think that, what they're doing is unfair, it does not matter. They just go out there, handle their business, and win. As you can see, I got on a Super Bowl hat here. The team that played in the Super Bowl was unsuccessful, the Kansas City Chiefs. These guys, they're just the consummate professionals, man. They go do their job, man. They've been to the Super Bowl 2 of the last 3 years. I think if you watched my show previously and see, you can go check out this video that me and my guy B. Woo had where we gave our predictions for the season, that the Eagles will be right there in the mix. Of course, I definitely think they're going to win the NFC East, and I think they take care of the Cowboys in this game. Saquon Barkley is going to be a key to their season again. He led the league in rushing last year, had a chance to break the rushing record, but didn't do that because he put the team first, man. He said, I'm going to sit out this last game. We got a bigger thing that we're trying to get to, and that's what I'm talking about, man. The Eagles are a team that seems to not care about the drama, all the outside noise. They're just going to take care of business, go out there, handle their business, and I think they will definitely handle their business in this game against the Cowboys. My prediction for this game, pain is the prediction. The Cowboys will go down 27-17 on opening night. You guys tell me what you think below. This is a beautiful opportunity for you. Comment, tell me, hey, Cowboys fans, I know a lot of y'all are pretty confident. It seems like y'all on Jerry Jones' side saying, oh, Michael Parsons, maybe he was asking for too much money. He didn't want to be there. I've been surprised by the response from Cowboys fans about that. Some of them have been heartbroken that, Jerry did trade away Michael Parsons. But you guys tell me what you think. Is this a bad way to start the season? You got to go into Philly already. You got a distraction of, trading away your best player. And, you get the Eagles to take on you, giving them a little bit of fuel. And so, look, it's just the Cowboys, the Cowboys. Like I said, 27-17 is my prediction. You guys tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think this will be a game that is closer than that? Or do you think the Eagles will run over them like I think they will, man? I'm predicting this is going to be ugly. A lot of emotions in that stadium. And I think you'll see a team like the Eagles just come out and be the professionals that they are, handle their business as they always do, and continue to reign over the NFC East. And they started off with that big win tonight right on NBC at 8:30. So you can check that one out, man. Now, the NFL has done a great job of trying to become an even more global sport. So they got a game that's going on in Brazil, a Friday night game to kick off the season as well, man. And like I said, I'm wearing this Chiefs hat here today. I'm sure I'm going to get some comments about, man, Earl, you jump from team to team. I just like the hat, and it was a nice color. And, I decided to wear it, whatever. I don't jump from team to team. My allegiances are clear. And in this particular matchup, you got the Chiefs taking on the Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I'm not exactly sure who this is supposed to be a home game for. I guess the Chargers are considered the home team, so maybe they'll play one less game. They're not really the home team when they play in LA. No offense to you Chargers fans, but come on, man. It is what it is. One thing that we talked about in our preview show, Patrick Mahomes and the disrespect that he's received, right? A lot of people think that Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the league, a best player, or is it Lamar Jackson, or is it Joe Burrow? And they're forgetting about the bad man, Patrick Mahomes, man. You cannot discount this guy. I mean, look at his track record. He's been the best. He's almost sort of like, afterthought now because he's just put up such great numbers, continues to be consistent, and continues to find a way to win. And I don't see anything different this year, man. I know they're a year older. I know some of the weapons that they've had in the past have been gone. I know Travis Kelce, his big announcement as far as his engagement to Taylor Swift is probably bigger news than anything. But what I think you'll see from the Chiefs is more continued dominance of the AFC West. And it starts in Brazil this year, man. When you got a quarterback that's historically great, you think back now. I just talked about the Eagles, and everyone is kind of maybe jumping off this bandwagon and saying they're done or their window's closed because they did get beat down in the Super Bowl, but they were on pace or on track from before that one game. People were going to be saying Patrick Mahomes is the greatest player of all time, maybe, or he's in line to do that. Now, he's lost a couple Super Bowls now, one to Tom Brady, of course, and also lost this one now to the Eagles. So that narrative starts to change in just one game. But if you're looking at it, the consistency that he's had and getting that team there, they played a lot of tough games last year, but they just find a way to win and pull it out. I can't discount that. I won't bet against that. It's very tough to bet against those guys until someone has them down and just defeated and beaten like the Eagles did. Now, I did predict the demise, and I almost predict the score last year in that game to a T. But they're not playing the Eagles in this game, and they're playing the Chargers. And if you watch any of my content for the last 4 years, you know what I say about the Chargers, man. Never trust the Chargers. Even though I love their coach, Jim Harbaugh, and I think he's, kind of trying to change the culture there, I fell victim too many times to believing in the Chargers and thinking that, these guys may have a chance. And I love that they have a quarterback over there that is good. And, I know they got, like I said, Jim Harbaugh, who it brings a certain kind of, pizzazz or a certain kind of oomph when he comes out there to your team. But I don't think they have what it takes to beat the Chargers. And I definitely don't think they have what it takes to beat them in this particular game. So I have the Chiefs winning this game 28-24. It'll be a close one. It may be a bit of a shootout. I think, you got some good weapons over there on the Chargers side, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. He's dominated this series against this team. He's dominated this division for so long, and I think he continues to do that, gets this team off on the right foot, and he will put them in a position to begin the season 1-0. So if you're scoring at home, I got the Chargers. I have the Chiefs winning that game 28-24. You guys, again, tell me what you think about that. If you disagree, and also, what do you think about Friday Night Football, man? This game is going to be on YouTube this year. So, if you got YouTube, which if you have a phone or internet, you got the ability to watch that. What do you think about the NFL kind of having all these different tentacles and, some games on Netflix, some games on Amazon, some games on NBC, CBS, Fox, they have ESPN, the ABC family, all these different places where they're putting the games. And now they're giving you a game on YouTube on a Friday night. The NFL is king, man. And I love basketball and other sports as well, but undeniable that the NFL is king, and they just continue to expand and grow that brand. And, it's a masterclass that Roger Goodell and the owners are putting on right now as far as how to make your brand, continue to expand and continue to make more money, man. It's an interesting thing. Like I said, you kind of have. There's been some reports about where do these, all these games and how much money you got to spend out to actually watch the NFL now. If you got to subscribe to ESPN Plus or subscribe to all these different streaming services, but you get this one for free, one-off free on YouTube. So maybe they heard a little bit of the chatter, but they're trying to bring in fans and probably younger fans. A lot of young people are on YouTube a lot, just as much as they can. So, and going over to Brazil and playing this game in Brazil too, by the way. So I'll be interested to see how the broadcast works as far as the stream, but the NFL is top notch. We were worried about some of those Netflix games. I didn't have any trouble last year during Christmas watching those games. So I don't think there'll be any trouble with, the streaming service as far as YouTube is concerned. And should be interesting to see what the outcome of that is and how all of that plays out as well. Now, as we get into our next game, our Sunday slates, man. Sunday at 1:00, that's when it's going to be time to lock in. A lot of fun. Football is back in earnest. We've had our appetizer with the Cowboys and Eagles. You got a little Friday night. If you're out hanging out, you get a chance to watch, the guys go at it in Brazil with the Chiefs and Chargers. And then Sunday, you can lock in from 1 a.m. if you're on the West Coast, from 10 a.m. from 1 p.m., on the East, and from 10 a.m. on the West Coast, all day football, man, all the way up until Sunday night. So this is where the most wonderful time of year truly begins. We're locked in. You have a football coma at that point, man. Just overdose on it. Enjoy yourself, man. It starts with the Dolphins and Colts at 1 p.m., our first slate of 1 p.m. games. And interesting game here. The Dolphins, of course, with Tua and McDonald as the coach, is he on the hot seat? You got a lot of the stuff about Tyreek Hill not wanting to be there. Does he want to be there? Does he not want to be a Dolphin? He's there right now. He has some off-the-field drama that we won't talk about as well. Dolphins are just a team that seemed like maybe they had a chance to probably try to challenge the Bills, but they just keep falling short or not being able to do it. And a lot of that is based on Tua's health. Tua, of course, has had the concussions that have been a problem, and that continues to kind of linger over this team. Is Tua the guy to carry this team, or is this his last shot too? Really is something to kind of consider as well. But it's the opening week, so hope springs eternal. And if you're looking at them going to Indianapolis to play this game, I think it's a good time to get healthy or to start the season off against a team that has Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, who wins the quarterback job in Indianapolis over not AR-15 anymore, but Anthony Richardson, who was a top pick a couple years ago for this team. He's had some injuries. He's had some moments that weren't so flattering, and he loses his job to Danny Dimes. So now it's like, okay, do the Colts really have a quarterback? They got a couple weapons there. They got Jonathan Taylor at running back. They got some receivers who maybe could do some things, but we saw this movie with Danny Dimes too many times, man. So even though the Dolphins are a team that I think, like I said, are kind of on the clock as well, I think in this particular game, the Dolphins have the opportunity to go to Indianapolis, and they'll handle business, man. They'll win this game. 23-10 is my prediction. They cover easily. I don't believe in Danny Dimes, man. I'm just going to keep it real with you. Like, the Colts, having him at quarterback says a lot about their team. And I think they knew when they signed him to the type of contract they did that they wanted him to be the starter, and maybe Richardson wasn't ready or in their eyes wasn't their guy. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out this season for the Colts going forward. Do we see Anthony Richardson at some point again, or is he traded, or what happens with his career going forward? But I don't think Danny Dimes is going to be the guy. And the quarterback situation for the Colts, since Andrew Luck left and retired early, you've seen Phillip Rivers there, you've seen Joe Flacco there, you've seen Matt Ryan there, you've seen what's my other guy's name, man, former Eagle. Who was there, who they brought in, Fentz, who was their quarterback. They just keep going with all these different guys, and they thought maybe they had a guy when they drafted Anthony Richardson, but that doesn't seem to be the case either. So they'll probably be on the lookout again. But just, you get, so many years of Peyton Manning and great quarterback play, and then right after that, Andrew Luck with the first pick, they kind of luck into that after the injury to Peyton Manning, but now they are going through it. So it'll be interesting to see how that season goes on for them. If you're a Colts fan, tell me what you think, man. Do you believe in Danny Dimes? If you do, I guess it really means that hope does spring eternal, because I got to say, just from track record, Danny Dimes, I wouldn't put my faith in him, man. Now, moving right along, we got the next game is a 1 o'clock slate, and this will be in the Meadowlands, man, in Jersey, or, New York proper, I guess, if you want to say that. The Steelers with Aaron Rodgers going back to his former team, taking on Justin Fields and his former team of the Steelers. So it'll be a fun matchup between two quarterbacks who were, swapped out, I guess, essentially for one another almost. Of course, Russell Wilson got a chance to take that starting job away from Justin Fields once he was healthy. But Fields led his team early on to some victories, and people were wondering if he maybe should stay the quarterback. That was a lot of the talk there. But the Steelers are a team that I think are very, very interesting. I like Mike Tomlin a lot. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers has anything left in the tank, though. That's just being 100% honest. He's over 40 years old now. He's sort of a diva. A lot to maybe put up with. They kind of had to play the cat and mouse game, but the Steelers seemed pretty confident that he was going to come back and be their quarterback. So they didn't panic. They didn't draft a quarterback. They said, hey, we're going to wait out this thing with Aaron Rodgers, and he's there now. They also made a trade for DK Metcalf. So they give him some weapons. You got TJ Watt back in the fold, who they signed to a huge contract before this Michael Parsons contract. Was one of the richest contracts for a defensive player, a non-quarterback. And I think the Steelers should handle their business in this game. Now, the interesting thing is you got new head coach Aaron Glenn, trying to build a culture there. He's a former Jet, played on the Parcells. Now he's the coach back there, had that was a big part of the turnaround in Detroit as a defensive coordinator. So he gets his shot. I like Aaron Glenn a lot, but my prediction in this one is going to be a close game. It'll be fun to see both of these quarterbacks, like I said, go against their former teams. But in the end, I got the Steelers winning this game 24-21. I think Aaron Rodgers and the veteran, experience that he has, and the weapons of, DK Metcalf and having those guys around in that Steelers defense is going to give Justin Fields maybe some problems. They know him. They've seen him in practice. They got a chance to maybe know some of the strengths and weaknesses of what he has. So that'll be fun to see how that works out. But I do have the Steelers winning that game 24-21. Our next game, the Panthers taking on the Jaguars. Now, the guy that I'm excited about seeing in this game is, of course, Mr. Hunter, Travis Hunter, Heisman Trophy winner. Is he going to play both ways? How many plays will he get on each side of the ball? Are they going to focus on him being more of a receiver or, defensive back? You've already heard Trevor Lawrence, his quarterback, who probably don't got time to be talking about what other guys on the team are doing. Maybe having a little bit issue with him, kind of going both ways or playing on both sides of the ball. Now, Trevor Lawrence got a big contract a couple years ago and has not really lived up to that since then. They won a game in the playoffs against the Chargers, who, crapped the bed and blew one of the biggest leads ever in playoff history. And that's how he kind of was able to catapult. But it's been a very up and more down career so far for Trevor Lawrence. And on the other side of that, another first overall pick, Bryce Young, going into his third year now, a guy who's been benched, and you saw him come back. So maybe there is some hope for, Anthony Richardson, who we were talking about earlier. I don't know, but, this is a year that I think you probably want to see Bryce Young continue to show some promise and maybe actually start putting some stuff forward now. But I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't have any faith in the Panthers or Bryce Young either. I'm still not sold on him, man. He's had some moments. I don't really trust the Jaguars either, but I think they have more talent. They're at home in this game. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars game 24-20 over the Panthers. I think it'll be a tight game. It'll be interesting to see how things play out. And like I said, I'm keeping an eye on Travis Hunter to see if he's able to put in work on both sides of the ball. Now, a game that we have to cover, because I promise to you is that we will cover each and every game, but I got to be honest with you, man. The Saints are probably the worst team in the NFL, man. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this game, man. I don't even know who or why they have, to televise these games of the Saints. If you're a Saints fan, I'm sure you're probably saying, oh, they got it. But it's just honest, man. I if I had an enemy and I wanted to bore them to death or punish them, I would probably make them watch the Saints game, man. And I'm not going to do anything or get anywhere near this game and watch it, but I will give you a prediction in it, man. I think the Cardinals and Kyler Murray take care of business easily. It could get ugly, but I'll close enough for the Saints. I guess I'll keep the score 28-13. I think the Cardinals going to the Superdome and have their way with the Saints, and you're probably going to see that be a recurring theme all season. Again, I think the Saints are probably the worst team in the NFL right now. Now, another team that has had some quarterback problems, and now they maybe have solved them. We'll see. They got 3 new quarterbacks on their roster. The New York Giants, man. Russell Wilson is officially named the starter of that team. They also have Jameis Winston there. Our friend Tommy DeVito got cut, and they have Jackson Dart as their backup as well, who they drafted in the first round. Now, eventually, I think you'll probably see Jackson Dart probably take over that starting role. But right now, Russell Wilson is the guy in charge, and they're playing against the Commanders. They go into DC and playing, the boy, the babe, man, the guy who set all kind of records as a rookie, had one of the greatest rookie years ever, and Jaden Daniels. And I like Jaden Daniels a lot. He got that team to the conference championship game last year. Now, they were overmatched against the Eagles. I think they will definitely handle their business in this game now. I do think this could be an interesting season to watch, though, kind of looking at the way C.J. Stroud's second season went, and just in general, how some guys maybe their sophomore year can have a sophomore slump or second-year slump in the NFL. I want to keep an eye on what's going to go on with Jaden Daniels this season now. Terry McLaurin comes back, gets the contract a couple weeks ago, so he's in the fold. They added Deebo Samuel as well, who's kind of a all-purpose kind of guy. So they got some weapons on that team. They added some guys in Deebo Samuels who maybe to try to add to what Jaden Daniels has already done. But the interesting thing is now you got film on this guy. Everybody's seen him. He's, not a rookie anymore. He's not going to sneak up on people, and it'll be fun to see how he reacts to the adjustments that the league makes to him. I don't think he'll have any problems on Sunday, however. I think the Commanders handle this game easily. Division rival, they jump out to a 1-0 start. 31-14, I got the Commanders over the Giants. I don't believe in Russ and the Giants just yet. Next game that we're going to cover, the Buccaneers versus the Falcons. And this is a perfect time for me to tell you, if you have not checked out our Bird Talk show on this channel, exclusive content for Falcons fans, make sure you check that out, man. And we'll actually probably be reviewing some of the games on Sunday. We may go live, stream live after the game, just kind of tell you, hey, what went right, what went wrong in this game. Now, I got a lot of Falcon fans in my life, and if you know the story of Earl Knows It All, I'm a recovering Falcon fan, so I have not jumped back on this bandwagon yet. I've cleansed myself of the heartbreak that the Falcons give you, and you know what? I'm going to continue to stay at arm's length anyway with these guys for right now. Now, this will be a fun matchup because last year the Falcons swept the Buccaneers, led by Kirk Cousins, put up record-breaking numbers. One of those games were winning overtime, and they also went down to Tampa Bay and beat them. But Tampa Bay continues to be the team that runs the NFC South. They still won the division despite being swept by the Falcons because the Falcons kind of just gave it away to them, man. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing kicks off. These are the two teams people think are going to be the contenders for this division. And I think you'll only get one playoff team out of this division. I just told you how bad the Saints were. I don't really believe in the Panthers and Bryce Young either. So, like I said, Baker Mayfield and young Michael Penix Jr., who now becomes the full-time starter, the man in Atlanta. What does he have on tap at home at the Benz Dome? They should defend their dome if they're going to be a team that's serious, a team to be taken serious as far as being able to win this division. But my humble opinion, I think the Buccaneers get back on track after losing 2 to the Falcons last year. I think Baker Mayfield comes into this game feeling dangerous and beats the Falcons 31-27. Just a lot of weapons on that team now. Some injuries going on for the Buccaneers, but I just think they feel like, we got to make a statement with this team. Now, for all you Falcons fans, like I said, make sure you subscribe and watch Bird Talk as well. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong, if you think I'm wrong. I know hope springs eternal, like we said, is week 1, but I think the Falcons may get off to a rough start. We saw them last year lose their opener to the Steelers, so I think it's going to be some time for the young man to get his feet wet, Michael Penix Jr., before he just comes out and maybe gets rolling. But Falcons have a pretty difficult schedule to start the season off, so this is a tough game in the division that I think the Buccaneers will take. Our next game, another division rival game, and kudos to the NFL for putting some of these early division rivalry games in there, man. There's some games with a little bit of a timeline or storyline to it as well, man, with the Steelers and Jets. This is another one. Bengals and Browns. The Browns have been one of the most talked about teams all offseason because of their draft situation with drafting 2 young QBs and Gabriel and Shadur Sanders, of course. Both of those guys make the team, and Joe Flacco is actually the starter. So Flacco is my age, literally. And I'm an old gray man now. So the fact that Flacco is starting at quarterback probably is not a great thing for you if you're the Browns. Now, past history, he did play in a playoff game for him, help them get there. But interesting little side note and tidbit as well on the Browns. Deshaun Watson's been seen, throwing. I saw a video come out of him this past week of him moving around pretty well and throwing the ball well. Of course, he's out with an Achilles injury that we suspect will keep him out for the season, but keep an eye on that as you look at that quarterback situation there as well. They're paying him a lot of guaranteed money, but he didn't look good when he was healthy previously for the Browns. So the team really to talk about in this particular instance, and we kind of buried the lead on this one. Cincinnati Bengals, man. Are the Bengals, lined up to finally not start 0-3? They keep getting behind the 8 ball every year, and Joe Burrow's trying to pull them, from out of the depths of 0-3 and 0-2 each year, and they try to make a playoff run, a playoff push late. They got to get rolling. If they want to be a team that I predicted would win the division this year, they better go out here and get going early and get healthy against a Browns team that I don't think will be very good. This is what I say should happen in this game. 35-23 victory for the Bengals. I think Burrow and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, probably the best, duo. Wide receiver quarterback tandems that you could have in the NFL. You got a quarterback who led the league in passing yards, threw for over 40 touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions in the season, and Joe Burrow. Only a few guys have done that, in the history of the league. So he'll continue to put up huge numbers. And I think, like I said, they handle the Browns and no problems on week 1. And they finally get an opening day victory and don't start the season 0-3. So Bengals, handle your business in this game, man. Get off to a good start. You got a chance to make some noise in the division. Go ahead and do that right away. Our next game, man, another 1 p.m. slate. Last game on our 1 p.m. slate. The Raiders of Las Vegas traveling all the way east to see the New England Patriots and my favorite coach, Mike Vrabel, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Vrabel, who's going to turn things around for the Patriots, right? This should be a fun game. Now, in the history of the NFL, you always kind of look at those West Coast teams coming east and having to play a 1 o'clock start. So, like I said, it's really like 10 a.m. for those guys to play these games. So, do you get the transition? Have they been in the greater Massachusetts era, the greater Boston era, area to try to get their bodies adjusted, to the time, or are they going to sleepwalk through this game with new quarterback, of course, Geno Smith, new head coach, and Pete Carroll? They're reunited in Vegas. They drafted a nice running back, man. They got a team that can do some things now. I think the Raiders can make some noise this year. I like Pete Carroll a lot, but I think in this particular game, the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Vrabel, and of course Drake May, I think will be victorious in this game. Now, the Patriots added a lot of help on their defensive side of the ball, so I'm banking on them catching the Raiders. Like I said, coming from west to east to play this 1 p.m. game, and I'm banking on those new defensive guys coming in there. One of my guys, Mr. Sweat from the Eagles, being on this team now, getting paid handsomely to be a part of their team. I think they'll be able to make some noise, get after Geno Smith, make things difficult for him, and Drake may do just enough. And another guy that I'm looking at in this game as well is a guy who's been outside, to say the least, man. We've seen him running around with Cardi B. One Mr. Stephon Diggs. Will he have an impact on Drake May and the Patriots, and how will that work out for them? So keep an eye on him. He's coming off a major injury as well, so be interesting to see how that works out. But I do have the Patriots nonetheless winning this game 27-21. Now is the perfect time for you guys to stop what you're doing if you have not, and subscribe to this channel right now, man. The Cover 2 Bros, man. We give you a lot of content, right? We give you around the league content with Cover 2 with B-Woo and Earl Knows It All. We cover all the teams, talk about all the latest headlines in the NFL. We give you our reactions to all of the games that happen from the week previously or the days previously. That's what you get on that show. We also have Bird Talk for you if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan. Exclusive content about the Atlanta Falcons, man. What's going on in Atlanta? Raheem Morris, our guy Raw, Terry Fontenot, MPJ, Michael Penix Jr., all of these guys, man. Drake London. If you want Falcons content, come here for that. And we also give you NFL matchup each and every week, man. Each Thursday right here, what you're watching right now with me, we give you a breakdown of each game, what we think will happen, what our predictions are for that. So make sure you like, subscribe, and put your notifications on so you don't miss a thing. We're getting you all of the NFL content that you can handle and probably more, man. Right here, one-stop shopping, anything you need, we are your guys. So make sure you hit those buttons, man. Turn those notifications on so you don't miss a thing, man. Now we'll get right back into it with our 4 o'clock slate games. And the first one on that slate is 49ers versus the Seahawks. Now, if you know anything about me, you know I'm not a very big 49ers guy. And specifically, this is because of one Mr. Kyle Shanahan. I only want bad things to happen to him. I hope for them to go 0-17 each year. I hope they lose every game by 100 points. But I will tell you this. When we're talking about these games, I'm an unbiased guy. So I got to give you the breakdown the way that I see it, the way I think things will happen. The Seahawks are an interesting team. We just talked about Pete Carroll, of course, who was gone from there last year now. Their second year without Pete Carroll now, man. You got new quarterback in Seattle and Sam Darnold. Now, Sam Darnold was with the quarterback whisperer for the last year. And he kind of finally had a breakout year and was able to get paid, led the Vikings to a great season. Not sure I quite believe in Sam Darnold just yet, though. I got to see him put together another one of these seasons and do it in a situation, like I said, where he's not with Kevin McDonald, who's one of the greatest quarterback minds in the NFL, the Vikings head coach. So I think this will be a very interesting game to start the season off. These two teams, of course, have had battles throughout the years in the NFC West, man. They at one point were the two top teams. I just think in this particular instance, as much as I hate to say this, I trust Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy, and most specifically Christian McCaffrey a little bit more than I do the Seahawks side. So I think you'll see the 49ers get a victory in week 1, man, as much as it hurts me and pains me to say it, 28-24. I think they go into Seattle with the 12th man. Very tough place to play and catch Sam Darnold early in the season. Sam Darnold, I don't know if you're going to be the man for this job necessarily, man. So I'm going with the 49ers, the more known entity, in my opinion, and the quote-unquote boy genius, Kyle Shanahan, to get a victory in this game. Our next game is a team that a lot of people are high on, man, the Broncos, and we also have the number 1 overall pick making his debut, Cam Ward, for the Titans. So Bo Nix and the Broncos, and a guy that maybe only second to Kyle Shanahan that I don't like is Mr. Payton over in Denver, their head coach. I'm not a huge fan or believer in the Broncos as much as I heard a lot of other people kind of saying they think Bo Nix and the Broncos can make a run and maybe challenge the Chiefs. This is where I say the disrespect comes in. I know the Broncos had a pretty good season last year, and Bo Nix had a pretty good rookie season, and they got a good start to the season matchup, home game, welcoming in the number 1 overall pick. So you maybe can throw some things at Cam Ward that he may not be prepared for, but I think Cam Ward will be a good quarterback eventually in the league, but making your first start on the road in Mile High Stadium, or whatever they're calling it, Vesco, whatever it is named now, once upon a time, Mile High Stadium. Tough place to play at to start your career off, man. So I do think, although I'm not a Broncos guy, I do think the Broncos take this game 31-20, and they'll handle their business and make sure that they get off to a victory and try to stay even with what the Chiefs are going to do out there in the AFC West. Now, our next game is going to be an interesting one as well, man. We talked about at the top of the show Michael Parsons making his debut with the Packers, just newly acquired, and of course Jordan Love, a guy who I'm a fan of, man. A lot of people were saying Jordan Love has to prove it. I was talking to some guys, and they were like, man, I just don't believe in Jordan Love. I don't think he has it. I like Jordan Love a lot, man. I know last year he suffered some injuries, and they kind of came back down to earth, but still a team that is a very good team, man. A team in a division that is going to be probably the toughest division in football. The Lions had a great run. They were the number 1 seed. They came up short, of course, getting beaten by Jaden Daniels and the Commanders in the playoffs in a surprising fashion to a lot of people. But if you watch my video and my prediction of that game, you know that I said, hey, Commanders going to win that game, and they won it handily. I think the Detroit Lions have been found out. And most importantly, it's very difficult to lose both of your coordinators and still kind of keep that cohesion. This is the problem with success, right? You get some success, you win some games. Ben Johnson gets plucked from you. He's now the head coach in Chicago. Aaron Glenn gets plucked from you. He's now the head coach in New York. You want to see those guys be able to progress, of course, and get jobs and continue to, have successful careers. But, you got to be a little selfish too. You don't want to lose both of your coordinators. And Ben Johnson, I think, is a huge, huge loss for them because he was the innovative mind that was going to, throw out the trick plays and the two-headed running back monster with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And, you got Jameson Williams, who is an interesting character at wide receiver. And most importantly, Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff is going to feel the ramifications of losing Ben Johnson, man. And I'm not sure that he's going to overcome that this season. I think just based on the success they had the last 2 years and kind of coming up short, blowing the lead 2 years, going to playoffs to the 49ers, a big lead, then getting beaten the way they did, I think the Lions are falling back down to earth. I think the Ruby Slipper has been pulled off of Cinderella. I think they're going to become the Detroit Lions again, man. As much as I love Dan Campbell, I just think, they've lost too much from a coaching standpoint. And I think the Packers are going to be the cream of the crop in the NFC North this year. Adding Michael Parsons just makes me believe that even more. I made the prediction that they win this division before they added him. But now you got another beast on defense to go get after the quarterback. That's a good young defense already. I like what the Packers have. I think Jordan Love is going to have a breakout year again, or bounce back year, some of you may say. And I think they win this game 34-28 and stake claim to being the team to beat in the NFC North right away at the start of the season. Our other 4 p.m. game and our last 4 p.m. game will face the Texans, the Houston Texans, going into L.A. to take on the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams are an interesting team because, of course, the injury concerns with their quarterback, Matthew Stafford. He is long in the tooth, I guess you could say, man. But Matthew Stafford, still a very good quarterback, still a guy that is dangerous. You saw him in the playoffs last year, almost take down the Eagles. They gave him their best fight. They got a great defense over there as well with the Rams, man. Some good young players on that team. And I just think the Rams are a team to kind of watch out for, man. I think they are on the cusp maybe. Now, the thing that scares me, like I said, is the health of Matthew Stafford. I don't know that, he's 100%. There's still some whispers about if he can play. They got another former dog that's on that team that's third-string quarterback, I guess, and one Mr. Stetson Bennett. And they also have Garoppolo on that team as a backup quarterback. But I don't know that I trust those guys to take over. But in this particular game, if Matthew Stafford is healthy, I think you're going to see a team that has the advantage of being at home against a team like Houston. Now, I do like Houston. I will say Houston is one of the teams I always kind of keep an eye on because I like DeMeco Ryans a lot. He's a guy I wish maybe could have came to Atlanta previously if they would have had him here as a head coach. But DeMeco Ryans, CJ Stroud, that's a good young nucleus that they have on that team. They did lose some stuff. They lost some of their receivers last year to injury, but they'll get some of those guys back. Of course, Stephon Diggs, like I said, is no longer there, and he's moved on. But I think in this particular game, it's just tough to go west and, kind of take on a cross-conference team and kind of see what you got. So I do have the Rams winning this game 27-24. And also, of course, new member of the Rams, they'll get a new toy to play with. Matthew Stafford has, which I think could also help this offense a lot, and Devontae Adams. So I look forward to seeing that connection between Devontae Adams and Matthew Stafford, maybe giving us some shades of Matthew Stafford early in his career with Megatron and Calvin Johnson. So that'll be fun to see what happens there, man. But I got the Rams winning that game 27-24. Very close game out on the West Coast, but we'll take the Rams in that particular game. Now, this next game is very near and dear to my heart, man. If you saw my Super Bowl predictions, you can go see them right there on our NFC AFC preview for the season. I chose the Ravens once again to get to the Super Bowl to take on my Eagles. I love Lamar Jackson. I'm a huge fan, man. I want good things for him. Now, I also stated that I've been bumping into some Baltimore fans here where I am locally in Atlanta, and I actually found a Baltimore Ravens bar in my city that they invited me out to come cheer on the Ravens and Lamar Jackson as well, man. So I may take them up on that. These two teams, of course, had a very great playoff battle, a game where a lot of people maybe feel like Lamar kind of cost them that game in the first half, but he was kind of perfect after the first half, and it came down to some tough plays late in the game that weren't made. We don't have to rehash. I don't want to talk about the tight end not making a play that probably should have been made, but I think this is a great way to kick off Sunday Night Football. Great matchup, two of the best teams in the AFC, and that's with apologies to the Kansas City Chiefs. Everything I said about Patrick Mahomes is still true. You still got to respect what that guy's done, but I do want to kind of see some new blood get in there, man, and maybe it's one of these teams. It's the window closing for one of these guys, man. Myself and B-Woo on Cover 2 talked about that in our preview. Which one of these teams has to get it done right now? And I think both of these teams are actually in the same boat, man. I think the Bills, of course, with Josh Allen coming off an MVP award, it's time to maybe put up a shut-up time for him. And Lamar Jackson, who has a couple MVP awards and has had some tough playoff performances, will need to kind of get the ball rolling. So we saw them last year take on the Chiefs, and they, had a tough game that went down to the wire, lost at the last second, man. I think things go differently for them this year on Sunday Night Football to start here, though. I got the Ravens taking care of the Bills. Lamar Jackson starts himself on his way to his Super Bowl run. Yes, you heard it here, man. I'm picking the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. I think the Ravens and Lamar Jackson finally get off the schneid, and it starts with this big victory over the Bills. This is a put up or shut up game, man. I think both of these teams will definitely be in the playoffs and have something to say, and maybe a preview of what could be the AFC Championship game. You never know. So you want to get that advantage, the head-to-head matchup, and maybe have a better record at the end of the season. So if the Ravens are who I think they are, they take care of this game and they win it 34-30. Going to Buffalo, win a tough game against a very good football team, and that's my prediction. Maybe I'm picking that one with my heart. I don't know, but I think the Ravens are a very good football team. And finally, our last game of the week one, and we come to an end, Monday Night Football. We talked about Ben Johnson, the great offensive mind. He gets to team up with his quarterback, Caleb Williams, number 1 overall pick 2 years ago now. What do we see in this game? And the Vikings, of course, going with their first overall pick from 2 years ago, who was hurt all last year, was probably supposed to be the guy, but that injury allowed for Sam Darnold to have a breakout year and go get paid. Now J.J. McCarthy takes over. The Vikings are a team that's built to win now. The Bears are a team that's on the come. They've added some guys, former Falcon Grady Jarrett. Shout out to Grady Jarrett, man. Want to see what he's looking like on Monday night as well. He'll be chasing after J.J. McCarthy, so that's a bad man to have chasing after you, J.J. I don't know if you're familiar with his history, but I think he still has a little something left in the tank as well. I think this will be a fun game, man. Like I said, I think the NFC North is probably the toughest division in football. I think you got 4 teams who all could be vying, trying to make playoff positioning here, and you want to get off to a good start. You got a division rival game. The other 2 teams are playing each other in the division as well, so you want to try to be able to get that head-to-head matchup victory. And because the Bears are at home at Soldier Field on Monday night, Caleb Williams, I'm interested in seeing what Ben Johnson's going to do. DJ Moore, they got some guys that are some weapons over there with Caleb. I think Caleb comes out, kind of gets his footing under him and starts to show why he was the number 1 overall pick. He showed some flashes last year during some of the season, his rookie year, and I think he will come out victorious in this game. I got the Bears winning this game 23-21. And it just comes down to me believing a little bit more in Caleb Williams than I do J.J. McCarthy right now, as far as how far along both of those guys are, and being interested in seeing what Ben Johnson is able to do with this team. So that is our rundown for NFL matchup for week 1 of this 2025 season, man. We covered each and every one of these games. You guys, do me a favor, comment, tell me what picks you agree with, what picks you've made, man. If you agree with them, if you think, hey, Earl, you do know it all, man, or Earl, you don't know nothing. You guys can drop that down in the comments. And like I said, make sure you tell a friend. We'll be here every single Thursday doing this. We drop every single Tuesday morning with Cover 2. And we also have our Falcons content for your bird talk as well, man. Tell a friend, tell a hater. Make sure that you tell them, though, whatever you do, tell them we got the best NFL content right here on this channel. So make sure you continue to stay tuned, man. We'll be back next Thursday to give you a preview for week 2. And like I said, make sure you're catching all our other shows as well on this channel. We thank you guys for watching. Make sure you stay tuned for all that we have in store. It's the most wonderful time of year. The NFL is back. You are back. I am back. Let's celebrate, baby.